Welcome to Tradies Who Lead, the podcast about everyday leadership for everyday legends. I'm Ashley Baltecki, a diesel mechanic by trade and your host. On the podcast, we share how every tradie can practice leadership in their role, regardless of their title or experience. In each episode, you'll hear from tradies across all industries about how they apply leadership skills and mindsets in the trades so that we can learn from them and level up our leadership on site. In this episode, we cover how encouragement and showing up as a role model are the beginning of leadership and how we can back ourselves to grow. Today, we're joined by Stefanie Apostolidis, known across the industry as Melbourne Chippy Chick. She's a qualified carpenter, content creator, and founder of 2 platforms that are reshaping what the trades look like for women in Australia. Steph was one of the first female tradies in this country to build a following by simply showing up on Instagram and sharing her life on the tools. What started as content became a community, and that community became a movement to remove barriers for women in trades. She's the creator of Tradie Lady Hire, the first national platform connecting homeowners and businesses with verified female tradies, and the founder of Tradie Lady Club, a fast-growing community and merch brand that supports and celebrates women in trades. Outside of that, Steph contributes to her dad's building business, LGA Home Builders, plays a key operational role managing operations at Crete, a concrete industry matching platform founded by her husband. All this while raising 3 kids, including twin boys, and continuing to show up as a voice for change in the trades. Steph's mission is simple but powerful: make the industry safer, more inclusive, and full of opportunities for the next generation coming through, especially tradie ladies. If you ever wondered what leadership looks like when it's built from the ground up, without a title, without a roadmap, and without waiting for permission, this conversation is going to hit home. Thanks for joining me on the podcast today, Steph.
Worries. It's lovely to be here.
We've been connected at a few events before, and I'm really looking forward to getting into all the work you do. But before we get started on that conversation, what is leadership to you?
So leadership to me is bringing other people up with you in a way with confidence, doing things that aren't normal, so out of the ordinary that not everyone would do. So leading a pack, showing that you know what you're doing, be confident, and bringing women with you, other people.
Where did your leadership journey begin, and what shaped the leader you are today?
I started doing carpentry back when I was 23. So about a year later, I started doing my Instagram, and then from there I attracted a lot of other women in the industry. So we just started a small little chat, and then it created a club called Tradie Lady Club, and my presence on Instagram just grew massive. I think I was one of the first females to have like a pure work Instagram page just to show what I did every day. Just a day in the life of a carpenter. Every day I was doing stories, showing what I did, the passion for my job. And it just grew quite largely. And then funny enough, actually, before I started Instagram and all that, I had a meeting with the Master Builders Victoria, and I got nominated for Apprentice of the Year, and I had to do an interview, and they were asking me, a little bit about what I was doing. And then I said to them, I want to be the face of women in construction. And I want to empower women and help them get into the construction industry. I don't know how that happened and how I knew back then, but it literally just unfolded from there. The Tradie Lady Club then inspired a lot of other women to join the industry. And then from there, I've created the Tradie Lady Hire now, because there's a lot of opportunities for women to get into the industry, but the connection is lacking. So with my presence on Instagram, I'm just pretty much connecting the two, which is really good. I want to just keep it going and help other girls and inspire them and show them that we can all do it, show them that it's something that you're passionate about, and if you want to do it, not to let anyone else's thoughts, comments, or ideas of you doing it get in the way.
It's really powerful to see where it began, because I think, like so many of us, you obviously kind of fell into something that you're really passionate about, and now you're able to really intentionally build that community. But obviously when you started, you were backing yourself in an industry that wasn't built with women in mind. Where did that confidence come from, and how did you build that day to day?
I feel that just throughout my life in general, from a young kid, I've been really close with my dad. So at the age of 9, he brought me to play soccer with a whole group of full-aged grown men. playing soccer. Think about that now, and I'm like, imagine a 9-year-old having the confidence to play a soccer game, maybe a 7-a-side, every Sunday. And so I feel like from a young age, I've been brought up in an environment where I've had to be confident, not worry about what anyone thinks. Just do what I'm doing, and if I love it, that's all I need to concentrate on. So when I was younger playing soccer, I didn't ever see people as men or women. They were just soccer players. So I feel like that confidence was built into me maybe from my dad or just at a young age. So it's the same with the trade. I do what I love doing, and I don't really give any F's about what's going on around, who's around me, who's looking at me. I feel better within myself when I just don't look at anyone. As long as I'm happy within myself, doing what I'm doing, that's all that matters to me.
It really shows how powerful encouragement can be, especially at a young age when we really do look up to the adults in our lives to help us figure out how to navigate the world and how we show up when we do become independent as adults. And I know that so many of our apprentices are often still on that journey where they might be fresh out of school or they've finished school early, and they could really benefit from that kind of encouragement, even from their workmates and their peers.
Okay.
I know that you've also worked in your dad's business alongside your husband's platform as well, and the work he does in the concreting space. What has that taught you leading across their businesses, not just your own brand, about how to work with people and lead them?
I just find that education is really important. So if you're knowledgeable and you know a lot, and that pretty much helps you lead in a way that you don't need to try. For example, there's something that you know really well and there's an issue on site, just having that knowledge and bringing that forward. So I feel like if you are getting into the industry, do as much study, experience, and just get as much as you can so that when you get into a position, you feel that you can lead because you are very knowledgeable. This journey in the last probably 6 months, or not even, I've literally gone from being a tradie to back on the computer, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I hated being indoors, but it's the way navigating through the industry. You need to change with things. So, for example, like all companies at the moment, you need social media. You need to be out there. You need to be savvy with technical things like apps and everything. So for me, I've had to then get off the tools and then educating myself on all these stuff that we need to lead the business into where we want it to be in the next couple of years. So it's a journey. And I feel like evolving with everything that you do, evolving in the industry and in your job and in the space that you are, is the most important thing as well. So education, learning and evolving is really key to getting ahead.
I love that you capture the personal learning that we have to take ourselves on in whatever work or leadership capacity we might have, whether that's we're the senior apprentice and we're starting to learn how to work more independently. That's knowledge we can then pass on to a junior apprentice. But as we might progress from being a tradie to a leader or a tradie to a business owner, that we need to actually take ourselves on that education journey. And there's obviously that leadership of lifting up other people that will come naturally as you also lift yourself. And you do all of this while raising 3 kids. And I've had quite a few people on the podcast who are also parents. And there's obviously a lot of overlaps between helping other people in your team and the way that you show up for a family as a role model, as someone who's encouraging, as someone who's shaping and impacting the life of young people around you. How do you keep yourself on track with so many different business projects and also family needs when, you know, you're already wearing so many hats?
It is hard, sometimes more mentally, just being in the mood. If you've had a hard morning with the kids, it just sucks your energy out of you. Like this morning, I was like, oh, I'm not in the mood for this podcast, but I'm like, snap out of it, Steph. You know, got up, and you just got to really push yourself. It is easy to fall behind. It is easy to sit down. It is easy to stay comfortable. But I know in my life that doing nothing gets you absolutely nowhere and puts you backwards mentally. So the kids are at daycare the 3 days. I get completely to myself. So the main thing is trying to get up, getting them out early, but also enjoying them in the morning because they're not at school yet. So I don't have to drop them off at a specific time. So I'm like, you know what? they're so cute, they're so young. Let's enjoy that time of their life. So there are some days where I drop them off at like 11 or 12 and my whole day's pretty much gone. And then there's other days where I have like meetings, podcasts, things that are really important, where I knuckle down and I focus on things that I really need to do. It is really hard to juggle as a parent. So I just lock in a few days or a few hours of the day. I prioritise the things that are really important that need to be done. What brings in the most money? My husband's app is doing great. Tradie Lady Hire's next. Melbourne Chippy Chick, and then Tradie Lady Club.
It sounds like this prioritization is obviously what allows you to juggle it all, but there's also, it sounds like, the ability to be flexible and go, not every day needs to be a strict day and not every day is going to be perfect or go to plan. So being flexible, but then also just doing your best in each moment and knowing that that's enough and that's all it can be.
And I feel like the most important thing is your mental health. And like, honestly, growing up, I didn't really like think about it much, but as a mum, it's like, wow, because it's not just your mind you're got to deal with, it's your kids' brains, it's your husband's brains, you're servicing everybody and then trying to keep yourself a good person to your children and them looking up to you and seeing how you handle every emotion, and you're like, that was bad. I shouldn't have handled it like that. Then you have this guilt over you. So it is really important, mental health. And if you're not in a right state of mind, it's just got to blow everything else out. So I do try to focus on having one day where I'm just like, you know what? Let's not do anything today, or maybe do 2 or 3 little things and then try to have a bit of time for myself, because I feel like if I'm out of whack, the whole family and all the businesses are out of whack. So yeah, that is a big part of juggling as well.
You highlight something really interesting though that often gets overlooked in any role where people are looking to you, and that can be leadership, whether we are the tradesperson leading apprentices or we are just that person taking on more responsibility and taking more ownership of how we show up and the impact we have on a team. Is that when we take on that responsibility, we are taking into account other people's mindset. We are taking into account their energy and their emotion and understanding them better and thinking about, well, how can I help them or be a good role model for them even when I'm tired or even when I'm angry. That is something that we also do in the workplace, but we often overlook how much energy that takes from us just to be a good team player.
It's definitely probably the most challenging thing, because as a mum, you're sick, you're tired, you just had a really big day, you just want to pass out. No, you have no option to do that. You have to pick them up, make your dinner, then clean them up, then shower them, then put them to bed every day. Sick, not sick, tired, not tired, no option there. It's just constant. So yeah, I feel like the more you push yourself, it can get exhausting, but then again, it's a part of growing. It's a part of knowing what you're capable of, just like weightlifting. If you don't push yourself, you're not going to grow. And the same with mental health as well. If you sit in a bubble and feel comfortable and not push that stress or push those boundaries, you're not going to know how actually capable you are of something. So my husband pushes me a lot and he knows I'm capable, but sometimes mentally I'm not. But he does push me, and then I'm like, he looks back, he goes, look what you did. And I'm like, wow, like I'm pretty impressed with myself. Like I was stressed, I was going, but I did it. I'm okay, I'm alive. I pushed myself and I'm stronger. So it's a bit of balance. There is definitely balance is key for pushing your mental health as well.
Going back to what that growth has looked like for you from when you first said, I want to be the face of women in construction, to now being a very visible voice for change in the trades. And that's obviously growth that you have been living and breathing over the last few years. From what you've seen in the industry today, what does it actually take to shift things at an industry level and actually bring people on board in terms of supporting more women into this industry to succeed as you have?
I feel that talking, showing and putting into people's faces that there are a lot of us in the industry. I think the Tradie Lady Club's events, my social media together have really put an impact out into the world and bringing us all together and showing the world that these are all tradeswomen. We've all come together. There's so many of us. And then just promoting the club in general has really opened up a lot of people's eyes to there's not just one or two of us around, there's actually a lot of us, and really just diving in and showing, like, even with all social media, sometimes I'll see a profile of a specific girl, what she does, her journey, her story, and it really is like, wow, people's lives go so many different tracks, but they all end up, we have so much in common. And I feel like that's what has really shifted the industry, by putting that in people's faces and showing that there are a lot of us. And then I think a lot of the businesses have seen that. Master builders, Bowens, the tool companies. There's been a lot of companies that have wanted to get behind helping women in the trade, and I feel like just showing and talking about it has really helped people grasp the idea of we exist, we're real, there's so many variety of us, and to give us a chance. Like, that's the main thing, to change people's perspective mentally about what they think of women and hiring women. That's the hardest thing, to get people to change over to that. Because I've had so many people say, Steph, I hired a woman because of you. Oh my God, I wish I did it earlier. Then I have people that I've never hired and they're like, oh God, nah, mate, this is for the boys, I don't need distractions. I don't need, women coming in and, and I'm like, all right, like, everyone has their own thought about hiring women and having women in their space. It is a shift, I get, like, for men, but you just got to show that we can do it. We love what we're doing. There are a lot of girls out there showing that they're half naked and they just like the attention and this and that. And that really upsets me, because there's genuinely us women in the trade that really love what we do. But then there's those people that have the OnlyFans and they're just promoting sexualizing the trade, which sort of wrecks it for us. But then again, it's the same with everything in the world. There's good, there's bad. There's good, there's bad. But I think just the shift in mentality to try hire a woman, take that step, try hiring us, and that's sort of shifting as well. That's really, really changing. So yeah, hopefully that does change a little bit more, but the more massive companies that jump behind us and support us, that's really the key of keeping us all going, really, because it's gotten us more engagement, more eyes on us, more views, more people are understanding that, wow, there is women in the trade. Wow, there's so many of them. Wow, it's becoming normal. So slowly, we'll get there.
It's clear that visibility is a really big part of creating that shift, but also having a community, whether that's the women or the allies and businesses and men, to make that visibility and that impact continue to grow. Now, the final question I ask all the guests on the podcast is, what is your advice to other tradies about how they can practice everyday leadership, no matter where they're at in their careers?
The main thing is having confidence in yourself. If you feel like there's something that you'd like to say, to bring up, or to show initiative, don't let your confidence knock you back from stepping up and saying something, or doing something, or asking something, because those things there are what can make or break you. And I feel like your confidence is all in your head. So you're thinking, oh, I'm not going to say that because of I might look a certain way, or I might come across as a certain way. You need to really just focus on what you're going to get out of the answer. If it's going to help your job, help you learn something, you ask it. That's it. Don't worry about anybody, what anyone's going to think of you. Because at the end of the day, if they do think something bad of you, that is on them. And if you get fired, that's on them. It's not where you're meant to be. So be confident, ask the questions, do the work, just have confidence within yourself, and don't worry about anyone else. That's what I really try to put into people's heads, because that does hold you back from learning and getting places.
That's a really powerful closing note for how we can lead ourselves by showing up with confidence, but also being that role model and lifting other people when we want to start thinking about the leadership impact we can have on the people around us. So thank you for everything you've shared on the podcast today, Steph.
No worries. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. And if someone is interested in joining Tradie Lady Club or the Tradie Lady Hire app, whether that's as a tradie or a client, where should they go?
Okay, so the Tradie Lady Club, you can just go to our website, so tradieladyclub.au. The Tradie Lady Hire is a platform, so that's if you want one-off tradies, if you want to hire them long-term, or if you're looking for an apprentice, you can just head on over to tradieladyhire.com.au. And also Instagram too, we're all on there. Just search us up in Google, we'll be there as well. But yeah, just get on, support the women.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back in another fortnight with another tradie sharing how they practice leadership in the trades. If you enjoyed this episode, hit like, subscribe to Tradies Who Lead, or follow us on socials for more stories from the people you've heard on the show.